Okay.
All right. So I here's for me, I want to say thank you for coming and having this chat with me, first of all, Diane, because I've been aware of you for some time. You actually are involved in sound healing, are you not?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I thought. That's what
Yes, I am.
Yeah. And you and I first encountered each other when Lisa and I went to Knoxville, if I'm not mistaken, right? So back in
Right,
2018, really, 2017, 2018.
right,
Right.
right.
Okay. But you made a post we became Facebook friends throughout those years, and you made a post. It's been probably about 2 weeks ago now that I've always known throughout the time that we've been Facebook friends that there would be I say this a lot to people. There's certain people that I feel there's things to do, and I don't know always what they are, right? But you are one of those folks. And when you made that post,
Mhm.
I thought, okay, well, this is the one for whatever reason it was time to reach out. And you made a post that I know very well is true for my own experience, but I wanted to hear your experience. And so, it was all about it was a meme that talked about cooking and intentions. And so I would love to hear your experience because you seem to indicate from your post that you have had experience with this. And so thank you for coming and chatting with
Yes,
me.
ma'am.
I want to preface this by saying we are having some technical difficulties. So I'm not sure if we're going to use this or not, because it depends on whether or not we could. Oh, see, oh, I hope she can come back because I'll just hold on to it. We're trying to have a chat. Yay. Ah, so now we'll have to reconnect.
Okay,
Great. At least you're back.
okay.
It looked like we lost you on my end.
I can't see you.
Now, and I can't
I
see you
lost you
either.
too. I can't see you. I can only see me.
Okay, well, oh, you're on your iPhone, so you'll have to swipe one way or the other. And there we go. There we
Okay,
are.
okay. So I have to just turn my phone back around.
There
Okay,
you go. Perfect.
okay.
So thank you. Like I said, I've had my own experience, and actually, Lisa and I have talked about our experiences many times where intentions are concerned. And I loved that you were willing to come and share your experiences, because that's what I feel like. By being willing to share our really cool experiences, we take them out of the realm of what people will classify as the woo woo, and see that they happen all the time to us. We just Are we paying attention to them, right? Is what
Exactly.
I'm being shown. And so please do share with me. I wanted to start recording immediately, so
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, it started. I owned a business, and I would go to the bank every morning and deposit. And one morning, I heard in my spirit says, "Get down. You need to walk." I said, "Okay." So I got out the car, got down, and I got coffee. And every morning when I would go, I'd get coffee. And I'd always put the same amount of sugar and the same amount of cream. And one day the coffee would be like real sweet. Next day it would be like not too sweet. One day it was like real bitter. I mean, real bitter. And it was like, okay, what's going on? So I asked, it said, ask them if they change coffee. So I said, okay. So I said, did y'all change coffee? I said, because the coffee is not tasting good. I said, it tastes bitter. And they said, yeah, we use the same coffee. And I said, okay, well, I said, who made the coffee this morning? and that was when it was sweet, okay? Because I didn't get to the bitter part first. So the coffee was sweet, and I said, "Who made the coffee?" And so I checked. The spirit says, "Pay attention of their mood." And I said, "Okay." So the lady that made the coffee, she was really happy, really in a good mood, and the coffee tastes so good. Next time I went in, the coffee wasn't as good. So I asked again. I said, "Who made the coffee this morning?" And they would tell me. And I thought to myself, "Oh, okay." Then when I went in, and the person was okay. She wasn't too much in a bad mood, but she wasn't in a great mood. Next time I went in, the coffee was bitter. And I said, "Who made the coffee?" And they said, "Who made the coffee?" And that lady was so upset. I mean, you could feel the tension in the air where everybody was like, "Oh," you know. And I said, "Who made the coffee?" And they told me, and I said, "Oh," I said, "That's why the coffee's." And I kind of was familiar with them from going in the bank every morning, so I was myself. Okay, so I said, "No wonder the coffee doesn't taste good this morning." I said, "You angry?" And everybody looked at me like, "What the hell?" You know? And so that was my experience about how our energy does affect whatever we cooking or whatever we drinking. So sometimes when we cooking, we notice that if we're not in a good mood, the food doesn't taste too good. And other times, oh man, I'm good. I'm in a good mood. I'm gonna cook this, and it tastes so good. And my husband says, "You always use the same recipe, but how come sometimes it's not so good and sometimes it is good?" And I said, "I'm not in a good mood today, and I had to cook it." So that goes to show you that our energy does affect our food, also affects our bodies, and you can always feel the tension in the air. I can feel when somebody is not in a good mood, because the air, even the air is so thick.
Right.
So that's kind of my experience.
Well, I love that. I love that you were willing to come and share that, and that you were shown that, because, well, there's so much in what you're sharing there for me. I'm being shown how your experience is actually showing how, for me, why I missed so much of that in my life as it was happening was that I wasn't fully in my own vessel, which also made it so that I wasn't feeling or paying attention to what was transpiring in each moment of now. And now I can see, sense, and feel these things where I didn't allow myself before. First of all, because I didn't get in here and pay attention.
Hmm.
And that's what I feel like we all are doing in our own varying different ways. And that is a way that you chose to show yourself, which I'm so glad that you see, you actually are speaking very similar as though how I conduct myself. I am in constant dialogue, it seems, anymore within my own self of things that I want to know. And I'm moving in that and you also brought something very, very clear to me, how where my feeling of moving only towards that which brings me joy in each moment that presents itself to me is very important, because that energy is infused in every single thing that I do and be. And what I'm learning from the recordings of and our study of the Handbook of the New Paradigm is that thoughts think within themselves. And so my thoughts also, especially if we continue to ruminate on said thoughts, which means we're energizing And it doesn't matter what, there's no judgment on what the thoughts are. It doesn't matter what they are, but they are amplified every time they're thought of, right? And so to me, you share a perfect example as to why, I'm in these moments of now very trying to be, well, practicing being very conscious of those thoughts and how I conduct that, because it does continue on and affects everything around us. How astute.
Sure does. It
Yeah.
sure does affect us. It sure does.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, I've had many experiences, with the spirit, you know. Like you said, with the sound, especially with the sound. I
Well,
can
I would absolutely adore, doing something with you in regards to the sound. Every time I've ever, uh, and I know you're in Louisiana, is that correct?
I used to be, but recently we moved to Mississippi.
Ah, you're in Mississippi. Okay. I'm in
Yes.
North Carolina, and so I would adore that kind of thing. To me, that's an in person sort of, that's the best way. Like I've had, I take advantage of what I can through the internet, Zoom or YouTube or whatever. Um, but there's
Hmm.
something about being in the presence of the instrument itself, and that whole thing for me, it's an entire resonance thing in the field, that can't be picked up by the microphones, or at least not by these microphones. Look, the microphones I have are awful for my voice, even. It's just terrible when I hear these recordings. Half the time I want to put them, that's why I don't listen to them, because if I did, I probably wouldn't put it out. And that's why I'm not supposed to edit or anything, because if I did, I wouldn't put it out there. So but yeah, I would love to experience that, because we were just speaking on that this morning. I've noticed within myself that my own voice, um, and the frequency with which I use it resonates within my body in a certain particular way. I think that's what the attraction to humming or singing, which is something that I do quite regular, to myself, right? And
Hmm.
so I can imagine that you have lots of experiences with.
Yes, I sure have, especially with sounds because of that's kind of like one of my gifts from the spirit is sound. The way it went by, the way I was able to get my bowls was through spirit. The spirit directed me through everything with my bowls, taught me everything, told me where to go to get my information. So it's not like somebody was teaching me, spirit was teaching me everything that I know and what I do. And
I
I
love,
really enjoy it because the sometimes the bowls talk to me. They'll give me messages like from depending where the energy's at in the room, because we all vibrate at different frequencies. So if people wants a message from their loved one, it'll come through depending on if we're on that frequency at that time. Sometimes they'll see their loved ones. Sometimes they it's like they like when you feel the energy, it's like I don't know, it just takes you and it brings you into another realm where they're able to, like I said, see their loved ones, communicate with their loved ones. Sometimes I get messages like maybe one or two words, and I don't know what it means, and they don't know what it means. But then later on, it's like, oh wow, they come back to me. They said that was why, because I do the sound bats every month. in one place, which is in Houma, Louisiana, which is Empower Yoga Studio, because I'm into yoga. I like doing yoga. And so I was able to continue my work there. I kind of regret moving to Mississippi because now all my people's over there in Louisiana. So I gotta take a trip like every 2.5 hours, every month I go down there and I'm able to do that. But I have been having so many people coming that I have to do 2 sessions. I have to do a 3:30 session and a 5:30 session. Well, I was supposed to do one last week and I had to cancel because I hurt my back and my hip. So I'm going to be able to do it this week. So this Sunday coming, I'll be doing the sound bath, and people are waking up, that's my part, is to help people wake up and to come to realize and to know who they truly are with everything that's going on in the universe, so it's like sometimes the bowls, depending on where where the moon's at, where the water's at, where the sun's at, has a lot to do with my singing bowls, the frequency of where it's at.
That makes a lot of sense to me, and I'll tell you why. My observations of and I'm just, I'm not an astrologer or an astronomer on any, but my observations, just cursory observations of the described energies of the astrological planets, their positions, and the timings of such, and what they are symbolically uh, corresponded to. There's because big puzzle piece collector here, ding, 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 ding. And for me, what you're speaking on is so true in regards to, if one just takes it at face value, which I know there's a lot of questions about whether, things are this, that, or the other, but as electromagnetically speaking, which we are physically electromagnetic beings, I think there's more than just one thing going on. And it's hard to follow, which is why a lot of people don't seem to want to go there, because it does take someone who's willing to see that things can be true and false at the same time, and not a lot of people are able to go there. So now more and more people are seeing, in my view, where that is true, because things can be true for one person and false for the next, and both of those things be correct.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And so
makes a lot of sense.
I think that's what you're referring to there, as more and more people are seeing, well, here's for me the thing. That's why I feel like magnetic attraction is everything. Right?
Yes.
Magnetic attraction
Yes.
is everything. I don't want no hostages on my journey. Thank you very much. I'm on a quest as I move through my life, and I want no hostages. I want no part of any kind of control system whatsoever, including, like I said, on this planet, it's no longer supported. And that even includes between family members. If I want something for somebody that they don't want for themselves, that is at its very core power over other. And to me, that's where we're being finally open to seeing where, yeah, you know what, I have no interest in trying to be power over somebody. I rather play with people who want to play with me.
Right. Exactly.
I ain't trying to force nobody to do nothing. So don't be trying to force me to do something, and we'll get along just fine.
Exactly. That's what I got to say too.
But I feel like we will eventually get to that. And I love hearing from you that in little, I think you said Houma, Louisiana.
Homa?
I've
Yes, ma'am.
never heard of that. Is it a very large place?
No, not too big. Mm-mm.
Okay. And so my feel of that is that here you are in a very small town in a rural part of the South doing sound bath sessions, and you now have to do 2 sessions a month instead of one. I am so heartened by that information. I cannot tell you how grateful, because this is to me, when anybody thinks that we're not getting anywhere, this is proof that you're just
Yes,
doing what you feel to do, share what you feel to share, and those who are ready are flocking. And so,
yes.
you know, thank
I
you.
also, yes, I also have, come to think of it, I forgot to mention this. I also have two other groups that has business clients, and I'm able to do private group sessions with the business for their clients
Oh,
to
how
help their clients where they work. And I had one that I had done couple of months, and she had to move, so she relocated. So she messaged me, and we're going to start the new year again with my sound bites, helping the client, her clients. And then I had somebody out the blue just recently message me last week, asking me if I could go and do a group session with their business, for her business, because she's into Reiki and meditations. And so it was like, would you come and do a sound bath for us? And I said, sure. So next year I'm gonna have two more groups that I'll be doing sound baths for. But I also, like I said, mentioned for the one in Homa, Empower Yoga studio, I do them at least once a month. And I had picked up some people over here in Mississippi too. I had did a few sound baths here, but the people are not open yet over here. They're still too, I hate to say the word, but religious.
yes, well, that I get that, and here's the thing, for me, that's why I wish there's a huge feeling within me. It's not there yet, but it will be. The Joshua channelings will be released on New Light Streaming Love, beginning next year. But I am feeling to upload them in mass on Sassy Seer Sheila. So to me, that book was so important and pivotal to me as a light worker to understand how it is that Christianity, how it has been so distorted, and the why behind it.
Yeah,
Um, and but see, it also validated quite a bit for me in regards to light workers. Everybody who thinks they're here as a light worker thinks they got to do stuff for everybody out there, when in fact the most important job is in here. and,
exactly.
because you can't do nothing about the out there. that's
Nope.
that's also why it's all about magnetic attraction. I mean, think about Christ. He walked, and it was a magnetic attraction, that
Exactly.
people, and the truth is he was his authentic self, and that's all any of us have to do. And but we are such a traumatized species, and as soon as everybody actually wakes up to that and cuts everybody else an effing break, we will get to the bottom of it. I feel that it's coming very close to the surface now. Just the very For me, I Lisa and I were nudged to see a series that we had to find on HBO Max, I think it was. It's called Succession.
Hmm.
It's very much about the elite and
Hmm.
all the program. I've said this for a long time, that those beings are programmed just as heavily as we are but in more heinous ways than you would ever dream possible. And the
Exactly.
trauma that I saw in that entertainment expose tells me that that is exactly the case. That that is just as, we all, every being on this planet has been traumatized in ways that are unique to each as well.
Exactly. That's why I can't stress enough when I do my sound bowls to the group of people. Stay focused on the inside because everything else is a distraction from keeping you away from your creator, your source that created you. They don't want you to know that because if you come to that and when you're going to come into that power, there won't be no more manipulation, no more controlling you like they used to.
Oh,
And
that's
it's such a freedom to be at that place.
it is.
And we're all going to get there, but in our due time.
That's right. Absolutely correct. And I just want to say, like I said, I would love to have you come back again because I was unaware that you receive messages through your bowls.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I do.
Anytime, now this is something that I've said a lot, and New Light Streaming Love, which is the main channel, well, let's have you on for Seer Spotlight. Whatever you wish to share publicly, that's what I feel our new platform is supposed to be. If a
Mm,
being feels they have something to share and they feel they would like to come and share, I encourage that because there's a reason that that feels to be. It doesn't matter if only one person hears it and it makes a difference. That is, I feel there's translators for everybody.
yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Lisa and I have experienced that where we've been chatting with somebody for, a long time about a particular subject, and that person will go away and hear virtually the same exact information, but from somebody else in a different way. And they got it. And that is proof to me that that is what that is,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a perspective thing, and it has to do with all of those different perspectives that we see, sense, and feel through. That has to do with our experiences.
Yes.
you know
Mm-hmm.
I'm so
And
grateful that you were able to come and share that.
well, I was really surprised when you reached out because it's like I had never done a Zoom before. I've done a video on my own when I did my CMOS gel because I'm into a bunch of stuff. And I did a CMOS gel video because I have thyroid trouble.
Yeah.
And so I was able to, and that's the only time I ever was on video. Other than that, I'm very kind of shy. But
Well,
then once
I
you get
love
to know me,
that.
I'm not.
I've heard a little bit about CMOS, but I don't really understand a lot about it. So
Oh, it's
I know
fantastic.
that in the new year, Lisa is very keen to reinstitute our body piece uh, episodes that we were doing. We had formed a support group where we got together and chatted and shared things that
Hmm.
had worked for us. Um, and so, I'd love to, like I said, it's anything for me. Here's what I've always known. Back when I first started Conscious Conversation Central, I wanted to talk about stuff nobody else wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And so I had to figure out a way to find people to talk with me about stuff that I wanted to talk about because there wasn't anybody in my area that wanted to talk with me about much of anything, right? Well,
Mm,
I also had a different kind of attitude back then too. I thought I was right about everything and everybody else was just stupid. So there was that going on too. And I've really seen that for what it was now. Thank you. I'm so glad. Um,
mhm.
And so that's how it started. And without folks that are willing to come and bring these things that you're experiencing, because to me, that's real life. That's real, authentic life. It is not what people will classify as woo woo. Now, there's woo woo stuff, not gonna lie, but I think a lot of woo woo stuff is, I've begun to see as sort of, well, if you can make it special, wrap it up in a bow and and tie a price tag around it, then you know by claiming the woo woo. But see, that doesn't really work anymore because it's just not supported. And not everything will work for everybody.
Exactly.
And it's not meant to. That's why, for me, it has to be by matter of magnetic attraction.
Hmm. I know there's a lot of times I post stuff on Facebook, because that's where most of all my people's at, and that's who I communicate with. And I forgot where I was gonna go with that. I just kind of lost my thought. Um, about how I'll post stuff, and my husband says people's gonna not want to hear that, and I said, but they do have some people that are ready to hear that. So I'm not gonna hold myself back because of the others coming forward, because there's other people that won't hear that.
Right.
And I had one of my friends tell me the same thing. She says, you turning people off. And I said, that's okay. I said, because I'm turning people on too. And the ones that want to hear it is going to hear it. And the ones that don't want to, well, then that's fine. I mean, they have their own choice, to do what they have to do.
No,
But it
you're
doesn't
exactly
mean that
correct.
I have to stop. It
No,
doesn't mean that I have to stop because they're not where I'm at. There
right,
are people that are where I'm at, and those are the ones that I really want to reach.
right,
I mean, other people can take care of the other ones. So I'm gonna take care of the ones that are where I'm at.
right. Well, honestly, like I said, for me, I really feel like just as soon as everybody turns that focus and takes care where they are themselves at in every moment, all of that out there just sort of goes away. Because like I said, I'm
Yes,
not in this to force anybody to do anything, because I don't want to be forced. So
I don't need that.
I
Right.
like that reciprocal. I won't force you, you don't force me. And we don't
Exactly.
all have to play the same game, because just because some entity wants everybody to think the same way and do the same thing does not mean I have to comply.
Exactly. I,
And I personally
nope.
feel that we are all one and yet singular,
Exactly.
which by
Hmm.
its very nature, the only privacy we really have, the only privacy I actually have, is the 62 years of experiences I've had on this planet that I am in full possession of, and nobody else has. Nobody has lived inside this vessel for 62 years save me. And I've not lived outside this vessel either, as far as I know, right? So
Exactly.
so I can be right for me and wrong for everybody else. Everybody else.
And it doesn't matter.
At the same time, and I'm okay with that, because
You too.
somebody out there will feel like whatever it is I got going on is right for them too. And that's
Exactly.
the person I want to play with. That's the playground I want to be on.
Exactly. It's by
Right?
lifting each other up. Yes, letting each other be who we are. We don't have to try to be something we're not.
That's right. No, well, here's what I've learned over these last few years of being with Lisa Rush, right? My housemate.
Mm-hmm.
You don't give up your own identity. You find where these things complement, right? Uh, there are things that I am strong in that Lisa is working on
Right.
within
Exactly.
herself. And there are things she's very strong in that I'm working on within myself. And so when there's this friction, which, you know what, when you're working on yourself and you live in company, there's going to be friction.
Yes, yes, most definitely. Me and my husband's always at it.
Right? It's all in how we handle that friction and see it for
Right,
ourselves, right? So
right.
I don't know. I've looked at the as just this kind of what you and I are doing here is what Lisa and I refer to as a resonating up, a spiraling up,
Yes,
right? That's what we're doing here by sharing.
yes. You pull me, I'll pull you. We
That's
pull each other until we come on, keep on climbing,
that's
keep
right.
on climbing, keep on coming up.
And
Yes, ma'am.
it would be so lovely if we could do, I just want you to know, I'm open to exploring whatever you would like to explore that you would like to share with folks that it can live on New Light Streaming Love and your own channel, wherever that may be, if you wanted. So, like I said, we've got a little segment called See Your Spotlight. If there's something you ever felt called to do on a regular basis that you'd want to do your own little spot, it could live there too. Well, my vision is for anyone who feels they have something they wish to share or they are driven to share, that they don't have to know how to do all of that.
Nope.
Because I don't really know how to do all of that either, but I know how to hit record and I know how to upload.
Yeah,
And
I'm not too familiar with it either.
luckily, just recently, because Crystal has been the biggest driving force behind New Light Streaming Love. She really knows what she's doing, so much more than I.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to schedule things. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, my envisioning was that conscious conversation central, which I view all places like that. It's under that umbrella for me, which lives on Rumble to this day. Conscious Conversation Central still lives on Rumble. And
Oh, nice.
yes, and I will eventually be uploading all the old conversations between myself, Lisa, and BZ on that Rumble channel eventually when
Oh,
we can sit down and do that. It just takes a lot of time to do that, and I need to sit down and do that.
yeah. Yes.
Um, but that was the original envisionment, was folks like yourself that feel they have something to share that aren't, you know, afraid, because a lot of people do get camera shy, and I understand, but it really, to me, it's just like chatting in person. It's just on video to me. I don't know. It's I get it, because if you now you're being eyeballed by all those people, and what are they going to say? I listen, at first I thought about that, but that's another reason why I don't look at what I put out, because
Mm-mm.
that ain't for me. It's not for me.
Mm-mm.
And I'm not doing it for all of that. I'm doing
Mm-mm.
it because that's what I'm asked to do, and it feels good for me to do so, so I do it.
Yeah. And I don't mind sharing any of my experiences with anybody that wants to know, because I sure have a lot. Because I've been having experiences. I got married at an early age, at 15 years old. So I've had a lot of experiences. And I'm going to be 68
Oh my
in
goodness.
January. Uh,
I did
I'll
not
be
know you were 68. I thought you were right around my age, like 61, 62. Oh my, okay.
no, no,
Okay.
I'll be I'll be 68 next month on the 23rd.
Oh, how
Yes,
lovely.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
How lovely. All right. Well, Diane Matherne, your Facebook is open. Is it publicly available? And
Yes. Mm-hmm.
so folks can find you, Diane.
Well, I have it set as friends right now. because
got
I had so many
you.
people with scammers,
I got
especially
you.
on Facebook. They have so many scammers going on right now, romance scammers, and stuff like that.
Oh my.
Yes, and so I had my stuff on public, and then I decided to put it on friends instead.
I gotcha.
You
Well,
know.
here's the thing. If you are in the Huma area and you are interested in Diane Mathern's sound healing information, you can contact me at consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com, and I will, and just put Diane in the subject line, and I will forward it directly to Diane. So if you're in the Huma area and you want to know where she's at and you're interested in uh, finding out about the sound healing, that's lovely. Well, thank you for and I, like I said, we'll have to, you stay right there, and I just want to tell everyone, no matter where you're seeing this, because this will be appearing on Sassy Seer Sheila on YouTube, it will be appearing on Conscious Conversation Central on Rumble. It will also be appearing on New Light Streaming Love.
Oh, love it.
EW Light Streaming Love
Oh,
is our website. And you can find, we're on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, Rumble, Instagram, on X, we're New Light Team, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, because we had to. So it's at New Light Team on X.
Oh, I also have two pages on Facebook. Well, I actually have more than two, but anyway, I have one that's called the Spiritual Awakening Beings, where I post a lot of my spiritual stuff in a group. It's a private group. And I also have my Sound Bath Therapy by Diane and Ray Matherne. I have that page also. Actually, I got three. And then I have my own personal page, which is Diane A. Matherne.
Okay,
So
awesome.
I have those three pages that if anybody would like to look me up and check out my pages, I'm on Sound Bath by Diane and Ray Matherne. Wait, is it sound? No, Mystical Sounds. I'm sorry. It's Mystical Sounds by Diane and Ray Matherne is my Sound Bath bold page. And my spiritual page is called Spiritual Awakening Beings. And then I have my private Diane A. Matherne.
Okay, am I in Spiritual Awakening Beings? Am I in that?
Yes, I think so. I think so, but I can check and see. It's a
Okay,
private group. I don't have it open for the public.
I
I
got,
have, so yeah.
right, I gotcha. All right. Well, thank you so much for being there, and I want to say to everyone, I honestly, and so much of what you shared there, Diane, and I think that's partly why I felt to reach out. If we move towards that which brings us joy, I feel like we can't go wrong. And if one feels in the moment, there's nothing joyous about any of this, because I that's the first place everybody goes, right? I don't know why that is. And I just want to say, if I, for me, I've found if I take a breath and pull myself up on a rock somewhere so that I can survey the field, there's almost always another perspective that I might be able to take, or that I didn't see in the heat of the moment, that would bring me much more joy in that moment, especially if I can just center myself on that rock for just a moment and not allow myself to go over into full blown whatever it is I'm trying to go over into, right?
Hmm.
And that's really what I mean. And I sort of heard your experience echo that, as
Hmm.
I'm thinking of the person that wasn't having a good day.
Right,
Right?
right,
I'm
right,
thinking to myself, if that person had pulled themselves up on that rock, that proverbial rock, for a moment, right?
right.
Yeah. And I mean, because that would have served them. Even you were like collateral damage in that situation, and you were noticing it. so that you don't create that for your own self and somebody else. But, I don't know. I just feel like for me, there's something there about that whole situation. Like I say, if we just allow ourselves in these moments of now, with everything being so immediate, 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 we don't allow ourselves that moment to center in and say, okay, hang on a second. Right. Or at least
Right.
that's for me. That's what I'm being. That's
Well,
what
at least I was, at least I was able to break the monotony that was there, the thickness in the air of the energy that was there. Because when I said that, they all looked at me like, and the lady that was upset looked at me like, "What the hell?"
you
You
know
know,
what? She may have not received it in the proper light in that moment, but if she did, if any part of her was present,
right?
she knew what you were speaking
You
of.
would,
I feel like
yes,
we do eventually, because you can that's the thing. If we
feel
allow ourselves, that's why I said taking that moment, allow oneself to feel what is happening within the body. Okay, wait a minute. Let's figure that out for a second.
yeah,
Right. And
yes,
and
ma'am.
and it's almost always tied to something traumatic.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Well, I surely appreciate that you reached out to me, and I'm just honored to be able to share my experience.
Well, I look forward to hearing more from you in differing ways as we move forward, Diane, in the new year. I would love that. So,
It'll be
whatever
my
you
pleasure.
feel called to do, okay?
Yes, it'll be my pleasure. Thank you.